Live. Um, Welcome to the Center of Spiritual Living, Leesburg. My name is Renee Berger. I'm in Boston right now, but now I'm here with you guys. Wherever you are, I am as well. We're so glad that you joined us here today. Our theme for 2023 is Living Out Loud. This month, our focus is curiosity as a superpower. The title of our talk today is Inquiring Minds Want to Flow, given by our wonderful guest, Reverend Lauren Martin. I'm so happy to have you with us, Reverend Martin.
Thank you.
We're glad that everyone has joined us here today. Please feel free to add to the chat or in the comments any prayer requests or celebrations you would like to have included later in the service when we provide our community spiritual mind treatment, which is a form of affirmative prayer. We invite you to get comfortable and relax into this moment as we officially begin our service with this video. Oh.
Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be of service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is.
Now, here's Reverend Martin with today's, just a bit of a introduction on our wonderful Reverend Lauren Martin, our guest speakers. Reverend Lauren Martin is a new CSL minister whose vision is to focus on helping people move through trauma, to remembering their true self and celebrating what makes you undeniably you. You can learn more about her work at this website, www.revlauren.com. She will now lead us through a meditation.
All righty, everybody, let's go ahead and close our eyes and take a deep breath and center into this beautiful, relaxing energy we are creating here today. And as we breathe deeper and deeper, allow yourself to sink deeper into a beautiful, relaxing, calm state. Feel yourself being surrounded by peace and calm. And open up your mind to hear the answers that are waiting for you. As we breathe deeply, go ahead and ask yourself and ask your guides, what should I be curious about right now? Really breathe into that feeling. Breathe into this space. Breathe into the open-minded curiosity, knowing that all the answers that come through are here to guide you and support you. And as we breathe deeper, ask your guides, what can I learn today? Breathe in that answer. Feel how it feels deep inside. Tap into that core energy in you and really ground the feeling of curiosity and learning and being open to it. And as we breathe deeper, ask your guides, what purpose fills my life? And don't be surprised by the answer. It may not be what you think. It may not make sense, but your soul knows the truth. So feel into that truth. Feel into that deep, compassionate knowing that your guides have your best interest and will never steer you wrong. And as you breathe in again, ask for support on how to grow, where to be curious. What do you need to know? Feel the answer in your body and take a moment to really understand where you feel this. Are you feeling it in your stomach, in your muscles, in your shoulders or your back? Where are you feeling this pull and this grounding? Really understand where this feeling emanates from so you can tap into that again as you go through your life and really feel that pull and that draw towards where you need to be curious, towards what you need to know, and towards your passion and purpose. Maybe place a hand over that spot so you can get the muscle memory. In the future, you could just place your hand there again and know that those answers are there for you. So anytime you touch that spot, you hear what way you should be curious now, what you should know, where your passion lies. Let's just take a few moments of silence and breathe into that space and really feel it. And so as we breathe that in, we give thanks to this purpose, to this passion, to this path that we are so divinely led towards, to the curiosity and to the expansion of our minds and our life's purposes. And as you breathe deeply, start to feel yourself more present. Come back to the space, come back to the room. Thank you.
Reverend Martin, thank you so much. That was beautiful. We will now have our lovely Leah lead us in some music.
Thank you so much. Your meditation, Reverend Lauren, reminded me of this song by Sarah Dan Jones. It's called The Meditation on Breathing. Likely you've already heard it, everyone, and so we can just jump right into singing it together. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love.
Thank you, Leah. Lovely as always. Reverend Martin, we are ready for your message.
Awesome. Thank you. Good morning, and thank you for tuning in today for our talk entitled Inspiring Minds Want to Flow. When I learned that this month's topic was curiosity as a superpower, I got really excited. I'm a huge Marvel fan, so I immediately thought, yay, we get to be superheroes. Many of our superheroes have some kind of enhanced abilities. They can fly, lift super heavy things, run really fast, have X-ray vision, or can read people's minds. My favorite superhero could definitely be seen as someone who has curiosity as a superpower, though. The one, the only Iron Man, better known to his friends as Tony Stark. Billionaire, genius, philanthropist, playboy, inventor, he is definitely a character. But if he hadn't been curious, he literally would not have survived. His curiosity fueled his inventions and drove him to create better solutions to problems as they arose. You might even say that he had an inquiring mind that kept him in the flow. I know that there are some of you thinking that being a billionaire made things easier. In a lot of ways, it does. It is a lot easier to accomplish wild and crazy things when we're fully sourced. But there are other aspects of Tony Stark I want to focus on here. I will be the first to admit that Tony had a lot of advantages we don't necessarily have. Yet, I promise you, even his life was not perfect. A lot of his confidence probably came from the fact that he was born into a rich family. And he knew that no matter what trouble he faced, he had the means to get out of it. Yet, since all heroes need a tragic backstory, there was a lot of pressure on Tony to be great, and he always felt he could never measure up to his father's hopes and dreams for him, so he never felt loved. So, of course, he rebelled. It was a complete and total mess for much of his life. Yet, he was also undeniably fearless. Again, that is easy when you have all the money in the world to fall back on, but what if I tell you that we all have the ability to be fearless and are all also fully sourced? We may not be billionaires, but the universe does provide. One of my favorite scenes with Iron Man is when Tony is in his lab and he's trying to get his suit to build itself on him and then control the flight of the suit. He gets knocked over, dropped, flung into walls, but keeps getting up and trying again. Me, I probably would have given up after the first attempt because I'm a big wuss when it comes to pain. But he keeps at it for hours on end until he finally creates the latest and great iterations of his suit. He is curious about what went wrong and how to improve it. Just like another famous inventor, Thomas Edison, who said, "I have not failed, I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Tony knew that he couldn't let fear of failure get in his way. He had a much bigger purpose that he knew he was part of. After all, he was an Avenger, and they're tasked with saving the universe. Thankfully, the rest of us don't have such a monumental purpose, though I know that our purposes can feel just as big and daunting at times. It is very easy when we are in our heads to be controlled by our fears. So that is why a shift to the alignment with the soul is so vital. If you're like me, when you're stuck in your head, you might play a game called What If? Now, if you're Tony Stark, this game may be a whole lot of fun because he believes he can't fail. He will be successful, if not right now, then eventually. And he knows that if he makes a mistake, he can pivot and try something new. So he never sees anything as a complete failure, just a lesson. Now, the rest of us, well, what if could feel like a deadly trap. We may ask ourselves questions like, what if I fail? What if I run out of money? What if I'm not enough? Or, even more scary, what if I succeed? Then I have to keep succeeding because I'll be expected to succeed. And what if I can't keep up with that? This creates a seemingly endless cycle that can keep us in our head and out of our flow. We can stay trapped in our mind and forget that God is our source, and in each moment we are at choice. When we remember this, though, every step is a progress because we believe that we are either learning or succeeding. Let us try a different what if. What if I listened to my soul, really tapped into the truth of who I am, and let my soul guide me to who and what I'm meant to be? Now, some of you smarty pants out there might be thinking I'm encouraging you to bypass your fear, to not really face them, to just ignore that they exist. Well, not exactly. What I'm suggesting is that you stay in the flow and become a compassionate observer of your fear. Fear developed for a reason. It is to keep us safe from harm. Yet when you reach a level of comfort where your basic needs are met, you have food and shelter and are relatively safe, where does that instinct go? It doesn't disappear, it just becomes more abstract. We no longer fear that bear at the edge of our cave waiting to make a meal out of us when we're out foraging for our survival. Now, we may fear failure, loss of money or status, the judgments of others, and being alone, for example. Yet when we stay in our fear and let it take control, we can stay stuck. We become trapped in our minds and we can forget who we are. When we are led by our soul's purpose, we can step outside of our heads and look at our fears as compassionate observers, feel them to the full extent, and truly understand what they are really trying to teach us. Once our fear teaches us what it really wants us to know, we are powerful because we know that what to do next time it speaks up. You don't have to be void of fears. When you're in alignment with your purpose and you let your soul guide you, it becomes easier to do things in spite of the fear. Remember, your intuition is amazing. God-led guide. Another thing that keeps us out of the flow is judgment and comparison. This time of year is traditionally hard for me. My least favorite holiday is Valentine's Day because it's the greatest reminder that I'm still single. Add to that, it's also my birthday, and you get a time of year where I'm contemplating all that happened in the past year while realizing I'm still single. So I end up in this trap where my mind only focuses on all the negative things in my life to help feed the funk. This year was worse because my best friend is moving out of state. Yesterday was the last time I would see her for at least a while, and to add vinegar to the wound, I met the guy she's moving out of state to be with. So I was in a really dark mood for a couple of weeks. Add to that a horrible sinus infection, and all my brain was doing was trying to find all the ways I didn't measure up, ignoring all the good that had happened in the last year or even the last few weeks. I had lost sight of my purpose. It was completely trapped in my head. Then I had an incredible, powerful day on Thursday. I got to host a CSL Deeper Circle that takes the topic of the month for the Science Mind magazine and goes deeper into the meaning in a small group. There was a beautiful guided meditation that opened me up to new ideas, and then all the sharings were around the things I needed to process. Then that night, I had a total snotty, gross, nasty, ugly cry in therapy, where I got to voice all the insecurities and doubts and things I really didn't want to admit to anyone about what I was feeling. Not fun, but I would recommend that everyone has someone they could do this with. It really helps on the journey. After that, I was like, I need some downtime. Let me turn on a sitcom. So I chose a new show called Not Dead Yet. The main character had successfully imploded her life. She followed her fiance to London, and it all went south. She didn't get married. She found herself back home, alone, with no job, no money, and feeling miserable. Her best friend got her a job at an online paper, but instead of being a feature reporter, she was stuck writing obituaries. Now, because this is Hollywood, this of course meant she was going to be visited by the ghosts of all the people she would write about. Drove her absolutely crazy. Now, one of the ghosts was a self-help guru who convinced her to write an article and upload it to the site without permission. She did that, got in trouble, and with a boss that she already had a bad relationship with. Her friend stepped in to help her communicate with the boss, where she learned that she was getting positive feedback on her obituaries because people felt like they were written by somebody who really knew the people and cared. Seeing she was still frustrated and feeling like she had no value, her friend pulls her aside and tells her that she's spending all of her energy focusing on what she doesn't have and how she doesn't measure up to everyone else, that she is failing to see where she is shining. Instead of focusing on where she thinks she should be right now, maybe she should stop and spend some time seeing how far she's come. This hit me like a 2x4 between the eyes because that's exactly what I was doing. I was so wrapped up in measuring myself against everyone else that I forgot all the great things that were happening and how far I've come. Believe me, there was a lot of great this year, and I have traveled so far from where I was even a few years ago. Yet it is easy to judge ourselves and try to compare ourselves to others. But it helps to remember no one shares our exact path. There's a saying by Dr. Seuss that I both love and hate at the same time. It goes, "You are you, now isn't that pleasant?" For most of my life, the answer was a very loud and emphatic, "No, it's not pleasant at all, you pompous fool." But when I remember that we are individualized expressions of the divine, then I'm able to see that, yes, it is pleasant. We exist because who we are at our very core is desperately needed in the world right now. We exist because God wanted to experience humanity as us, exactly how we are, perfectly imperfect. So then why do so many of us relate to the first visceral reaction? Because we lose our wonder and our passion as we grow up and try to be what we think everybody else wants us to be. We get out of alignment with our soul's purpose. So how do we get that back? So let's take a moment and think back to when you were a child. What was the favorite question every adult wanted to ask you? What do you want to be when you grow up? I remember in kindergarten towards the end of the year when my teacher asked the class this question. My answer may seem a bit odd because I said, I want to be rich so I can be considered eccentric instead of weird. You see, by this time, I'd been in school long enough to know I wasn't like the other kids, and also had been enough of a troublemaker because I was perpetually bored that the school suggested I started reading young adult books to keep me busy. Well, my mom took me to the adult book section in the library, so I became a bit precocious, hence the use of the word eccentric. All the other kids wanted to be doctors or lawyers or teachers. I had no clue what job I wanted. I just wanted to have a better word for my quirkiness that I was convinced I would never grow out of. Well, I was right. I am by no means rich, but I have been called eccentric a couple of times, or because I'm still unapologetically weird. As I got older, I decided I wanted to be an actress, so I could be famous and loved and have a platform for my voice. Then I wanted to be a lawyer, so I could be part of the Senate and change the world. Then I wanted to be a therapist, so I could see the unseen and help the lonely feel less alone. I wanted to help people who felt like they belong on that aisle of misfit toys know they are not alone and help them celebrate what makes them unique. I have not held any of these professions. In fact, I've spent the last 20-ish years working in sales and in corporate America, which is so not me. Yet, I have just graduated as a minister. If I look back at the reasons for the careers I wanted and apply them to my ministry, they all fit, even though throughout my entire life, I had no clue I was going to be a minister. After all, I was voted most likely to be the next Stephen King in high school. The underlying themes were, I wanted a platform to be heard from, to see the unseen and help people remember who they are. I wanted to be able to be unique and help others celebrate their uniqueness. I wanted to be an advocate for change. The ministry I'm working on is helping to end domestic violence and abuse and to help people involved remember who they truly are. It all fits. Yet so many struggle because we live in a world run by corporations, so it's easy to feel that our job is all that defines us. Yet we are so much more than our careers. Our passions and our paths are who we are at our core. Our careers are simply how we make money. If you can get all the parts of you in alignment with your soul's purpose, it won't matter so much what the job's title is. You will be in the flow. So how do we find out our purpose and passion? Let's try an exercise when you get a moment in the next week or so. Grab a journal, sit down in a peaceful and comforting environment, maybe light a candle, lower the lights, breathe into that core of who you are and align yourself with your soul. And think back through your life and all the dreams you've held. Jot them down, feeling connected to your soul. Remember a time you felt the most alive. What fueled your passion? Write down all the things you wanted to be growing up and all the jobs you've had. What underlying themes can you find? Is there something you wanted to do that you were afraid to try, like acting or painting or some other skill? Can you try it now? Can you bring the things that light up your soul into your everyday life? It isn't important to know the how behind any of this. God will provide that. Remember, you are fully sourced, so you can be fearless and judgment-free. If you knew you couldn't fail, what would you do? Now, if you get stuck, channel your inner Tony Stark or superhero of choice and ask, what would they do with this passion or path? Really try to feel all the emotions that come up and let them play out as they need to. Dream big, and if it isn't scary, dream bigger. The universe will support you because that is your path, your destiny, and your purpose. And as you go through your normal day, start to share with people you trust what came through. Make it real. Notice the feelings you have as you share. Is it nervous anticipation? Is it joy? Then you're on track. Have you been told? I have been told when I talk about my ministry, even when I'm talking about the stuff that are scary to me, I light up. That is because it's my soul's path and I'm in alignment with my soul in those moments. The goal is to string together as many of these moments as possible until it becomes fully integrated into who we are. It takes the time it takes. So I'm going to tell you what I need to hear most right now. It all unfolds perfectly in the right time, exactly how it's supposed to be. I know that could be a sticky widget for those of us who need immediate gratification. Yet this is where we get to practice faith and patience. I did not say perfect faith or patience. We practice it to the best of our ability and keep moving forward. I'm sure many of you have noticed I talk a lot about items from pop culture. I have found that I learn better when I'm relaxed and curious. I let down my guards when I think I'm simply going to be entertained, and inevitably in creeps wisdom I didn't know I needed. Many of us have had really painful memories with learning in traditional ways, and we may shut down in traditional teaching styles. Some of us get tired of our friends and family members who think they know what's best for us and don't listen completely to their advice. Yet, when we hear the exact same idea in a different source said in a slightly different or more entertaining way, it sticks. The reason I mention this is we firmly believe that God is all there is. So God is even in pop culture. You see our friends and our family in traditional teaching services a purpose. It plants the seed to let us be open to the idea that we're ready to hear, and it is presented in a way that we can relate to. So don't feel guilty if you read fiction or watch TV or movies, because no matter what people may want you to believe, it really is still all God. Some of the best breakthroughs come through art because we are relaxed enough for them to get in. So be open to wisdom in any form it comes in. When you are connected to your flow and curious, you can learn from the most unexpected sources. Last year, one of my favorite bands, Shinedown, released an album that made me ugly cry. Yes, I do that a lot. It clears out the cobwebs. It's really healthy. I would like to share with you a lyric out of one of my favorite songs from the album. Don't worry, I won't sing it. And go on and be your dysfunctional self. Life's too short to play someone else. Because being normal is just a trap. But you're never so gone that you can't turn back. So go on and be unpredictable. Shatter the glass when it's half full. The audience has waited all this time. You're well rehearsed and you know your lines. So introduce them to the wonderful dysfunctional you. They know that the most amazing gifts of this life is that we are perfectly imperfect. We are wonderful in our dysfunctions. We are unique, and that is a gift. We are flawed, and that makes us amazing. The other really important thing to realize is that there's no such thing as the perfect time. Part of the fear and judgments we face starting out a new path is that the timing has to be perfect. That's not how time works. There's no perfect time, so you might as well start now. As I said earlier, I just completed ministerial school and did my panels in October of last year. For months, I have been feeling like I was spit out into the world, expected to somehow be something I wasn't ready for. One day I was a student, the next a minister. I was convinced I had to be perfect, all healed up with no gaping wounds or insecurities left. Yet that wasn't me. I'm still raw and healing and making mistakes every day. So how can I be a minister? It is only when I accept that those prickly bits are exactly what makes me a minister that I can accept myself fully as I am. You don't have to be flawless to be perfect. It is totally expected and acceptable to go down a path and realize it didn't work for you and choose a different direction. We are all dysfunctional in some way, and we're all flawed in some way, and that makes us human. We are here to learn, to grow, to stay curious and in the flow. Allow yourself time and grace and compassion as you go through the journey, because no matter how rocky the road and how much your fears and judgments want you to quit, this is your path and it's perfect. You are not alone. You are guided, you are sourced and protected as a manifestation of the divine. So stay curious and stay in the flow and become the amazingly, perfectly imperfect person you were meant to be. Now let us pray. And as we take a deep breath this day, breathe into this space, into this knowing that God is all there is. In each of us, in each and everything on the planet, from the smallest speck of sands to the biggest mountains, it is all God. And we are divinely connected to that and to one another through this truth of God being all there is. And as we breathe that in, we tap into our curiosity and we open ourselves up to hear the truth, to know our value, to feel our worth. This day and every day forward, we breathe in our purpose and passion. We feel that fire, the belly and the burning in the soul of who we are. We embrace it. We love it. We let it fuel us and push us forward into being who we are meant to be. And in order to do this, we stay curious with an open mind and an open soul. And I know that all these people, these beautiful souls who are joining us today, they are a blessing and they are blessed. They are whole, perfect, and complete. And they are such a gift to us and to the universe. Knowing that everybody who hears this prayer is protected, is sheltered, is loved, is held in the arms of God, and knows and feels their value, their warmth, their healing, their strength. It is a beautiful, amazing day, knowing that we are all connected and that we are all a blessing. And so I say that I am grateful for this lesson, for this message, for this information that we are open to hear and receive to make our lives whole and powerful and strong and passion-led. And I release these words into law, knowing they are true. They are done. They are unfolding perfectly as they are. And so it is.
Amen. I appreciated everything about what you shared. The first note I wrote was the reminder that I'm either succeeding or learning. Thank you for that. Thank you for the Iron Man references. And the permission to learn from pop culture. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
This song is called Free and Easy. It's all about flow. Free and easy. Free and easy. Life is alright when I remain free and easy. Free and easy. Free and easy. Life is alright when I remain free and easy. Take one step, take a breath, listen out for your guides. Know everything is always alright. Uncurl your fingers and flow with the ride, free and easy. Take one step, take a breath, listen out for your guides. Know everything is always alright. Uncurl your fingers and flow with the ride, free and easy. Roll with your flow and know what you know. Only let go and trust your soul, free and easy. Only let go, listen out for your guides. Know what you know is always alright. Ride with your flow and trust your soul, free and easy. Only let go, listen out for your guides. Know what you know is always alright. Only let go and trust your soul, free and easy. Follow your highest excitement with no attachment to the outcome. Just remain free and easy. Oh, and easy. Follow your heart, excitement. With no attachment to the outcome, just remain free and easy. One more time I sing, free and easy. I am free and easy. 'Cause life is alright when I remain free and easy.
Thank you, Leah. That was beautiful, free and easy. And it's encouraging to focus on free and easy as we also think of perfectly imperfect. It gives us the freedom to, just be in the flow. So it's a fantastic message in both from Reverend Martin and from our wonderful Leah, as usual. Oh, so we've come to that point in the service now where I find the right thing to share. Okay, what is happening? Give me a moment. As you'll see on the screen, there's many ways that we can support CSL Leesburg. You'll see that you can text your donation, or you can Cash App or mail it. But whatever the way that works for you, please do so and help us at CSL Leesburg. And now we will give our blessings of our gifts. Everyone join me in saying, the presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. Now, time for announcements. Every week we have our dream study with Charlene Banks, but this Tuesday it's canceled because Charlene is out of town. It's part of why we had our wonderful Reverend Martin as a guest today, which was phenomenal. But unfortunately, we are just gonna have to skip our dream study this Tuesday. Maybe we'll have it back next Tuesday. And let's do our closing affirmation. And everybody, if you want to unmute, you're welcome to do so and say with me, I am love.
I am love.
You are love.
You are love.
Yes. And let's all do the love sprinkles and we say, it's all love.
All love.
Yes. Please join us. We'll stop going live streaming, and we can have conversations and share our pearls for today's service. Thank you.